So as you know, I've taken the wiring loom out of that other car and I want to put it into the EF. I've got my ghetto lighting rig here, so you're going to have to apologise about that. But what I need to do is I need to take the interior out of this one, or at least I'm going to take the driver's seat, possibly the passenger as well. I haven't got a lot of space in this garage, but I'm going to try and take it out, stack it in the corner, and see how I get on with that. But I need to kind of remove some stuff. I need to drop the steering wheel down, the column down, and I need to begin the process of taking the dashboard out. So I've taken the battery out to begin with. You take the two 12mm at the front, put the seat forward, and take the 12mm out the rear, and then this seat is good to come out. I'll do the same to the other one. Right, this is a better setup with the light shining through the sunroof. Nice. Anyway, I've taken the front two seats out, and then I'm just going to take the back two seats out. So these upper bolsters, they get taken out with this. So if I just lean, obviously put the seat forward, comes onto this. I'm sure everyone knows this. Take that out there. Okay, top side of the seat. Okay, and you'll see this comes out then. Then you can just take it forward. So there's one, do the same to the other, and then you'll have both of them out. Reveals the 10mm. So here. Okay. And then you can just basically pull this up and then take this whole seat out. And it's just reveals the fuel pump, things like that. But logical thing to do next, just take out the central console, and I've already taken out the fuse. You can't see a lot of this stuff, but the fuse cover. So you just take out these 6 in total crosshead screws, one there, one halfway up, one there. You have to drop the dashboard, drop the glove box down to reveal that one, and then this will come out forward. Then you're going to remove your gear knob anti-clockwise, and this one, I'll eventually get it off. Alright, this is a nice Buddy Club neoprene one, nice. Put that to one side, and yeah, drop the gear stick back, and then we should just be able to pull this off. The handbrake out the way. Well, I'm not going to do it with one hand, but either way you get the idea. Just be careful as you pull that out of here. So handbrake up was easiest, so that's taken that out. I always leave the handbrake down on Civics because of the mechanisms and the brakes get stuck. These are the bolts are long gone for this thing, so you should just be able to push that forward maybe and jiggle this out the way. Maybe up. Yeah, up again. It's better. That's out the way. Okay, then we can take the glove box out, and that is just on some screws on the right and left at the bottom there. So glove box out the way. Then this ECU would usually be under the carpet, I guess. So probably not a bad idea to undo that, put that out of the way. And then it's just you need to undo these screws around the heater controls, and yeah, you can take off this at the same time, but I don't think you have to. But I'll probably just take as much out of this as possible to make it easy to manoeuvre. Okay, so ECU's out. Obviously take the lambda gauge out, and that was all non-OEM wiring anyway. But yeah, this is just for the stereo, so that can go back. And then yeah, I can drop this steering column down. So there are 6 12mm. There's this which retains a collar, that goes up there. 12 more bolts up here. There's 12 more there. There's 12 more there. There is another 12 more here, and you need to take these screws off. There's one there, there's two there. There's this little retain clip, little C-clip that needs to be popped off, and you can take this whole bit of plastic off, drop this down, but not before undoing the couple connectors which are connecting the steering or the key barrel 3-pin connector, which goes to here, and then we have this 4-pin connector which goes straight in there, which is the 4-pin connector which says A next to it on the fuse panel. So yeah, that means I can drop this down and then begin working on taking other things out. So the next thing will be the binnacle here. So I'll undo that. I think that comes out through just taking these switches out. I don't know. The easiest way I think is just get a non-mar tool and prise those two switches out. I believe there's 2 screws behind them, so we'll do that. I'm back in the car, and we've got a change of idea. So I was going to put that loom in that I've taken out of the other car, but I've managed to secure myself a loom from a CRX VTEC 1.6, it's the OBD0 loom, and I'll take you through what I'm going to do with that and some of the reasons behind it. But some of them are due to getting the indicators and the dashboard and everything working like stock, which is going to be difficult to do, realising also that the clocks from the other car are going to be very hard to fit. So yeah, I think I'm going to fit that loom instead, but either way, don't worry, I'll show you what I'm going to do. And yeah, that means I really want to get these stalks off as well, this whole column off. So I'm going to use the column from the VTEC as well. This is from a shuttle, the older style shuttle, 88 to 89. It's got the hazard switch on top. I really just want all the switches to be, all the connections to be the same, so I need to take the steering wheel off. So I'm going to undo these Allen bolts for this aftermarket steering wheel, and then take off that central nut after that. So take off the Allen first, Allen bolts with a little 3mm Allen key. We've all had this happen to us, but the Allen key of one of them was a bit rounded, and so as I took it out, the 3mm Allen key started to slip. But fear not, I've got an Imperial set as well, 9/64, hammered that in with that, and then I'm actually undoing it, so that's nice. So yeah, the tip is have the slightly different size if it goes a little bit rounded, and hammer that thing home, and then hopefully you'll be able to undo the thing. So good luck. So there we have it, I've undone that. This ring comes off first, then this is the little horn, and it's got a little connector on the back here. So that's that. Undone, horn comes out, and then reveals this, and then I can just undo this main nut and take the boss off. I might have to actually connect it back to there to do that, so we'll see. So yeah, 19mm we'll see. There we go. Yeah, that's that, and that's the boss off. And yeah, now I can just take, I think there's a 10mm down there, and take the rack off, the column off, sorry. Taking this bit of plastic shrouding off the column, and then this reveals this little 10mm here, so I'm going to undo that, and then just take the whole column out Okay, so that's been taken out, and I've got the 10mm bolt here, and I'll just put that back where it was, and then just undo these clips for the stalks, and then take the column itself out. Now it's time to take the dash clocks out. So here you need to take the this binnacle out first. There's one there, and there's one under here, and I believe there's two actually. Let's have a look. Right. Yeah, look here, you can't see. But yeah, there's one here underneath this thing, and there's another one under this cover here. So that will reveal the dash clocks themselves. And when that's moved forward a bit, I should be able to push these two switches out the way, forward, towards me, I should say, and then that will enable me to take this whole binnacle out. Okay, so those removed means I can take this forward, and obviously got this shift light, glow shift light thing on. I'll have to cut the wires for that one, but I think that's only got power, earth, and the trigger, the blue trigger switch wire. So I'll remove that and then take this binnacle out of the way. I was saying before, reaching behind here when this whole thing's out, that means I can push these switches out enough to reveal the connectors on them. So I'll just undo that. The 3 wires that have been snipped. So we've got the power, the red one, ground, black, green is the trigger, or the tacho switch. Anyway, sensor. Then I've got these little crossheads, I think 4 of them, so 1, 2, 3 and 4. This is then a matter of removing the cables from the back of it, and there's also a speedo cable at the back. So there we have it, that's been removed. And this is what I was saying about, this is the speedo cable. You can just press on the side here, on the side here, on the side here, and that removes everything from the back. That removes everything from the back, and then we're getting very close to actually removing the whole dash. Removing this dash, there's obviously a number of key points. There's 10mm bolt down here. Up here, you can see that on top of the dash. You need to come in here with the this kind of tool. So come on top of the dash on this kind of tool and lift this up, and this reveals a 10mm there. The sides here, see there's a 10mm in the air vent. So usually that's got a screw above it, but I think that's missing. But anyway, remove those and get those 10mm out of the way, and then I don't think there's a whole lot more holding this in. Pulling this side cover off and taking that 10mm out. Shouldn't forget the one under here, and the same the other side. And then this whole dash is pretty loose. So I'll have to do the same other side. So I've got that other 10mm bolt out of the left hand side, and I've taken a couple of more screws out of holding this dash in. There's one underneath there, which was a 10mm, and there's also another one behind the glove box, which is a screw but with a 10mm Honda kind of thread screw there. And then this I think is ready to come out now. Yeah. So I can take the whole dashboard out. Got to be careful because there's connections for the clock and stuff. So I'll just see if I can undo that. Also, there might be a connection over here for this, for part of these switches. So I'll just pull out the switches. There's a little thing, I don't know if that's connected or not. There should be a cable connected to that, the recirculating air or not flap. So just take those out and then take the whole dash out. So now it comes to the point where the dash is out and you just need to take out all the cables that are inside here. I'm going to mark some of them up as well, and just try and pop as much as I can through the firewall, or some of it will actually have to come from the firewall through here, so I have to figure that one out. But we'll just go through that. So really it's all just kind of basic stuff of the wiring here now. So as you know, I'm going to use a different loom, so I need to just get all this stuff out. So that's what I'm going to do next. So I've taken the fuse box down. It's just on these little 10 mils, and then the whole thing comes down. And then there's other stuff such as the brake stopper. So I need to take that, and basically just keep on working through and try and disconnect as much stuff as possible, and try and reroute stuff as well. Obviously that's going to have to come down here like that before I can get it out, so stuff like that. Outside of this little crash bar thing it's got out, it's going to be easy to remove it. So these are just on 12 mils. There's two here. There's one here, there's one here, there's one here, and there's one, at least one down here. So I'm going to just try and remove this bar now, and that will probably give me some more access. So that means I can just take this duct out, so that's nice. And when I put it back, I hope I remember to put this duct in first. So I seem to remember forgetting once and having to somehow weave it in. It's almost next to impossible. So just take that out and hopefully remember to put it back first before the crash bar. And then you can see I've got better access to all these wires which go up in here. So this whole thing goes to the back of the car. How amazing would it be if I didn't have to even do anything with that? If I could just unclip that. I really hope that's the case. That'll save me a lot of work. So I wouldn't have to strip the back of the car as well. So let's just have a go at that. So this is the one that I was showing you earlier, and there's a couple more wires as well which connect to the back of fuse box. This one connects to there, a few other places, but this one connects to here, as I was saying. So you just basically just take them out, and then we're left with all this is still in the car, so I'm going to the back, but I'll leave that. And then the rest is just basically looped around here and in the footwell here. So that's all we've got. We can really go to the engine bay now to see how we can go about taking that bit out. So engine bay. This is again fairly easy. Stuff like earths, 10 mils, you need to take off. Then obviously in the fuse box, open that up and take stuff like the battery terminals off, and then also I'll probably take the inlet manifold off as well, just so I can have better access to the heater matrix, because I'm going to get a new heater matrix as well. So this is all easy stuff. Yeah, it's going to be quite easy to do this, I think. So I'm just going to basically go step by step and just start undoing stuff. But basically I've dropped all the fuse box wiring and everything out of the fuse box, and then tucked it down here because it's going to have to get pulled out that way. So that's all pretty much good to go now, because the rest of the wiring is about here, which is all to the engine side. And then we've got this stuff over here to contend with, but I'm going to pull out the stuff that's inside the car on this side first, and that'll be one part done. Then we've got all these parts. I've just pulled it back a little bit, the wiring, but I need to things like this little 10 mil that's on there, and take all the wiring for the headlights and radiator, fan, and all that stuff. It's snowing. Anyway, continuing with this, so I'm going to take out the light here, which is the indicator, because I've already taken out the rad fan here, and this is all the switches, sorry, all the connectors for the lights and stuff like that here. And that all feeds into this bit which goes into the driver's side or right hand side of the vehicle as you sit in it. So I'm just removing all these things, and there's actually a horn somewhere as well. And then I need to do the same the other side, so I'm just actually taking out this indicator with 2 screws, and then I can pop the connector off that. So I've taken the connector out, which is this one for the horn, and then you just take a little crosshead screw out of the side indicator, and then you just take this connector off, and then there should be all this bit loom free to come out. Back in the car I should be able to take this thinner one out first. I can try to put it in a good way with the engine bay so it might have a chance of coming out. This is an easy 2-person job, but what you need to do is make sure you don't just yank it. You need to make sure it's not snagged the other side, and then just feed all these wires through the bulkhead. So that's it, it's all through, and I'd say best thing to do is take the small bits through first, and then just try and feed in the larger bits. Take off any things like relays or anything that will be too big to get through that hole, because it's not a massive hole to go through the bulkhead. And that's that bit done. Then I just need to go around the other side and take this bit out. Hoping it should be relatively straightforward, but it's all kind of the same types of stuff. So we got some wiring here, probably a bit less wiring, and some wiring down here as well. So again, just going to be taking all this stuff off and trying to keep some order in it as well. So I've undone most of this, you know, from the injector box, for example, knock sensor that I've had to put in. What else? The VTEC solenoid wire I put in. So basically some of the stuff that came over from all the stuff I put in myself. And there's 2 parts where it goes into, down here and just below the resistor box itself. Annoying bit is that the wiper pump connectors actually mean that you think you've got to take off the front bumper, which is a bit annoying, so I'll have to do that. But other than that, this thing's ready to get popped through, so I think that's the next thing I'm going to work on, is taking out the you know, front bumper off, which is fairly easy. I believe it's just 2 bolts in here, and then some screws in the wheel arch. So 2 of those in here. So yeah, take those off, and I'll take the front bumper off, and then I can take that out. Like I say, a couple of 12 mils either side, and then those little screws in the bumper comes off. This is what I was talking about. These little connectors down here for the pump. So I'll just label which one's which and just pop those off. Take out this, it's always an idea just for getting the cables out of the way. Taking out the 10 mil there, 10 mil down here, and 10 mil there. So this is all this pump reservoir is all loose, and then you can get all the wires out. And then now I can just push through this one here, this little rubber grommet in the back here, it's hard to see, but push through that one, and then get all the wires through here as well. So that's what I'm going to do next. It's that extension wire, which is the wire wire thing that I've made. That's out. And then now I should be able just to pop this back, this one down here, back. This is all of this chassis laying thing, so let's see if I can do that next. So I got the party started by pulling the thing, the little grommet out the bottom there, and then this man just feeding all these wires through, making sure stuff doesn't get snagged. So just kind of do that and post it through the bulkhead like so. One thing I will be leaving is my aftermarket wideband lambda, but everything else is going to get posted through. So all of through here, and that's the full wiring loom, the chassis loom from the front of the car out. I told you I've broken, well, I shouldn't say broken, I haven't broken anything, I've disconnected the front from the back chassis. And I can just basically remove this now from the car, and that's one stage complete. I was thinking about what to do next, and what I was thinking is I might just try and get the car started with the OBD2 loom. I took out the MC2, so at least there's half a point of taking it out, just to see if all my sensors and everything is correct. I'm still waiting on the OBD0 loom, and that's going to require some modification as well, so you know, I've got both options now, so I may as well take this out and just loosely connect the OBD2 loom, at least to the engine, and just to see if I can get the thing started like this, just to see if it runs right. So that's what I'm going to do, take this out and then take the loom off the engine and put a standard B18C4 loom on. So first of all, take this out, and then I'll take the loom that's on the engine at the moment off. Now comes this part. I'm just going to undo the loom that's on there now, which is my modified OBD0 loom that didn't quite work out. Anyway, I'm going to take it off the car and see if I can get this thing running just with the OBD2 loom, which is the standard loom. I think it should run like that, so let's take this all off and see what happens. The engine loom taken off and all labelled up and stuff. So still got the charging loom on there, but that doesn't change, so that's okay. And then now I'm going to attempt to put the standard loom back on this engine, the B18C4 loom, so it should fit well because it's from this engine, and then go for the chassis loom as well, so wish me luck. B18C4 standard loom went in without a hitch, which is nice, and then basically we can just connect everything else up. So we've got these here, this is part of this passenger side, the left hand side is sitting in the car loom, and then this here, which is part of the driver's side or right hand side as you sit in the car loom. So then we're going to, well, there's no one else there, is going to put the rest of this loom I have here, the chassis loom inside the car, and see how we get on. So as you know, I'm going to get the MC2 wiring working in that EF first. Here's the tank. So this is the connector for the fuel pump. See the lines coming out of it, and this must be the level switch sender or whatever. So this is the fuel pump, and this is this one here is for the sender. So I'm just going to do a quick pin out, and how I'm doing this is with on continuity, so that if the wires touch, you get to a very low number. Anyway, so this is the connector I'm wanting to replicate, because this is what's on the loom. So what I do is basically stick it on a pin and see which of these, so get it on a pin there, see which of these it connects to, and go to the next pin and the next pin and the next pin. So first let's just see if I can get one of these pinned out. So that pin goes to there, so that's to do with the sender, so I'm not really bothered. The mainly the ones I'm really interested in is for the fuel pump. So stick it in there, and then so that goes there, and just check around the rest of them. So this bottom pin there goes to this one, and I'm betting I stick this top one in there, it goes to the bottom and it doesn't go to the others. So it's just these two pins here, and I can get the fuel pump working. So that's that essentially, and I can change the connector on here for the one that's in the other wiring loom, and that way I can make it so it works for the car. So that's what I'm going to do next. This is the wiring. It's a little bit hard to see, but this is the wiring that goes from the factory OBD0 stuff, and then this goes to the fuel pump, which is the wire that goes inside here towards the back of the car, and then on top of here, this one's for the fuel level gauge. And all I've done is take the wires out of the OBD2 loom and just put them to the bottom two connectors here, and that's just so it runs a fuel pump. It'll either run the fuel, I think it'll run the fuel pump the right way, but we'll hear it if it goes the wrong way. And then what I'm trying to do is get the wires through to the bulkhead. Usually these connectors here, for this is actually if the engine room would go the other side, but it's a bit tricky to get everything through such a small hole. So we're just going to leave them connected this side. And then this wire here, this is a wire tuck for those of you interested, not really. And then, so we've got, this is the engine bay fuse box, and then we need to have one wire here I've just taken off, which goes to the battery and also is connected to the starter motor, and this connector here, which is the one which is connecting the power to the rest of the engine bay harness. So I'm going to connect both of those two up, and then that's going to have to sit there for now, which will be okay. And all we're really interested in, a lot of this isn't actually that important, so this is for the ABS wiring and some of the other stuff that's the sundries. I'm really just keen on connecting the wires that are going to make the engine run, so we'll see if we can do that. Right, so I've connected the ECU here, just a standard one, and then over here I've connected the clocks. And then
which ones are they, Paul?
Sorry?
Which ones are they?
From the VTI, from that one over there. And then let's see if I can. Yeah, this is clearly somewhat of a mess.
I'll come around the other side.
Basically, I'm just bunching stuff up that has no relevance. This needs to go through, because this does have some relevance, but this is all, what's this? This is all stuff to do with
this is
the
the wire
lights.
tuck then?
This is the wire tuck.
Looks really organised actually.
Yeah, cheers mate.
Looking good, the wire tuck's going pretty well.
Going pretty well, yeah. And then this needs to go through, because this is for the, so I'm going to have to hand you this, mate. So this is going to go through to the connection, the other connections, the ECU.
Yeah.
And then basically I've got to just connect this up and then put the battery on and see if it starts.
Cool.
Right, so these are the wires under here. There's just two main ones I'm trying to connect. This one here, I can get my hand in, and this one here, these two. So this should reach. I'm just going to go. There's one, and here's the other one. Okay, then go back into.
Is that it for the?
I think let's have a look. Yeah, so it's just this side of the loom connected, that side of the loom. Let's have a look at that one. That's all in there.
The heat, what's that? The heat sink.
That's for the old injectors. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
We're going away from those injectors, OBD0 injectors. And now I can somehow figure out where this goes. So it goes like this one goes in here, right? And then this one goes to another brown plug. There you go.
Points the other one as well.
So this one in here, this one in here, this goes to this key barrel.
So you need a battery on.
Yeah, battery on.
You got a battery? Yeah. Shout, that's, you're not the car then.
I'd never do that.
Don't knock the car. Whoa. Whoa, watch out. Watch out. Oh. What's wrong with the boot?
I don't know, the shocks have just given out.
Just now? He's
trying to cut me in half.
The heat on the back twice. So it's painful.
Sorry, I'm right.
Whoa, whoa, Joe.
Those struts are done.
Can't believe it. Are they original?
Yeah, probably. We're obviously not connected.
Yeah,
Yeah. Haven't connected enough earths, I think. All that battery's got no charge.
Do you want to get the tester?
Multimeter. Battery's knackered.
Great. You got another battery?
2 volts in it.
What about, can't you just use the the other car's got batteries?
Didn't have one. Right then, so in the ECU we have a space for a chip, and the chip I'm going to be using today is this one, which is one from H-Tune. Just put it in there, show what it looks like. I don't know, it's in like that. The little dimple is there, and you can just latch it. There we go, that's latched in there. Put the cov back on, and with these little screws in it as well, and then we'll see how we go. More to the car, I've connected up these wires here. I've repositioned the battery here because the wiring I was using to go to the back of the car with the battery is kind of not in the best of conditions, and this is just the chipped ECU. And one of the things you need to do if you're using an ECU like this, and in an MB6 or MT2, is you see the plug almost fits here, but you need to snip off these 2 bits of plastic either end. So I'll just go ahead and do that, and then see if this thing starts up. So there we have it. Should just be able to slip this connector in now. Maybe not. Just need to take a little bit more off here. That side's good. So yeah, just take off a little bit more plastic here, and that should slip in there like that. I should be able to start it. So I've connected up the ECU. Interestingly enough, it needs to be the same key and key barrel which connects to it, which seems to connect to something else, such as I think possibly this box needs, sorry, not this box, this one. I think the key barrel is connected to this box that needs to be the same, so I've had to use this. I need to disconnect this from this at some point, but yeah, as you see, it wants to run, but it's not giving me any fuel at the moment. So I've had a look at the connector, and it's not giving me 12 volts or any volts to the actual fuel connector. So the next port of call is this crash sensor thing, this thing here. I'm just going to quickly pin this out and just see if it's dead or not. Bridge that, and then again I will check the what I've got coming out of my fuel pump wires. So hopefully I get some voltage out of these now. Got the probe set up on my fuel pump wiring. I've got my multimeter set on 12 volts. And I've obviously got this bridged for this little crash sensor. And then what I'm going to do is try and lay it on there and turn the ignition. So let's have a look. See, 12 volts and down. So what that means is it's going to kick the fuel pump over with 12 volts and then stop, such as primes the fuel system. So I think I might start now if I just connect these up to my wiring. So I'll show you what that looks like when that's done. Wiring set up, and what I'll do is I'll move away from this mapped ECU and I'll just put it on the standard ECU. Let's go. Oh, I hear a fuel pump. Not sure if it's running the right way. Could be running backwards. Don't know. Let's give it a go. Me, that's I think that's running backwards. Let's just go and have a look at the fuel pressure regulator. It's got a gauge on it. it shows nothing, then I think it's running back. And then it's getting pressure. Getting pressure, guys. So let's have a look. Let's see if we can't just get this thing going. Try the other ECU. So sounds tempted. So here's the spark plug I've just taken out. It seems like it's covered in fuel, so I think the car is getting fuel. But I want to just check the strength of the spark. Again, I think it probably is getting spark, but because it sounds like it's going to fire up, but it isn't quite doing that. So I'm just going to quickly check the spark after I've wiped the spark plug bit, and then I'm going to clean the other spark plugs and then give it another go. Good strong spark, at least coming from number 4 piston. And now I'm going to, well, I've cleaned up all the spark plugs and put them back in. I've also found another that I missed to fit, which is this one. Some of the earths will be more important than the others, but this one's going forward. It's like one of the, I think, pretty critical. So I've put that earth on as well. And then we'll give it a crank. So, sounds tempted. So it seems like I've got an engine warning light. So I've put the other ECU, the Hondata ECU, in, and I'm going to quickly have a look at the Hondata app. So connecting. It's hard to see this one. Okay, and then engine warning. Intake air temperature circuit high. That's interesting. Okay, so that's the first thing I'm going to look at. This is the intake air temperature. I've just taken it off here. Looks like we've got some crap on the connectors. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is see if I've got some ISO spray and just clean out this connector and put it back on first thing. Thoroughly cleaned the intake air temperature sensor, and then see if the error is cleared, or I'll clear it and then see if it comes back on again. Clear that error. I don't know if it will actually clear. Okay, seem to clear. Okay, need to reconnect. That's a slightly annoying thing about this. I didn't like the air intake temperature. So, I don't know, maybe it's getting the wrong impression of the actual temperature. I probably need a new sensor, so I'll look to see if I can buy one of those. So I've just updated to Hondata S Manager 2.6.6.0, which is, I think, released in November. And then the first time I've connected it up to the S300 ECU, and it's upgrading the firmware. So it's the first time since I've had it that it's actually done that. So it must be to work properly with the latest install of Hondata S Manager. So there we go, just doing that, and then we'll see if we can put some maps on this thing. And we'll just load on the map I've been using. Open, it's the GSR with the knock disabled. Okay, there we go. And then I can just push that down onto the ECU. So I will upload that. So that's uploaded to the ECU, and then I'll give it a crank. Okay, give it a crank. It's tempted. Give it a bit of throttle maybe. So it's running, which is further than I've been previously with this ECU, I have to admit. Look at the error codes. Clicking the online button there. So I've got one intake air temperature and idle control. Let's give it another. Okay, so it seems like the intake air temperature is complaining, and the idle air control valve. So I'm going to have a look at them. Switch those two plugs around and we'll give it a crank. Oh. Say you're not tempted. Let's go live again. Okay. Clear these codes. My intake air temperature is actually faulty, but either way, give it a crank. So, doesn't like either of them. I wonder if it's my wiring, because I bought this engine wiring loom, and someone had already done some stuff to it. So, I have other looms available to me. I have this one that's an Integra loom. It's kind of similar but different, a couple of plugs, so I might take this loom off here and just compare the wiring to my Integra loom and have a look. So these, this is the B18C4 loom and this is the B18C6 loom. Now they actually are identical as far as I can see it, other than there was one connector that I don't know what it is. It's this one. So if anyone knows what that is, let me know. But it's certainly not on my other loom, which is weird. So I'm not sure if it's some extra thing that's on a B18C6 rather than B18C4. But either way, so we've got that. And other than that, the loom seems to be quite well. It's the same. There's a couple of connectors I'm going to have to replace first, such as this one. That goes to the alternator, that's been bust. And what else? Oh yeah, this bit of plastic, the white inlay bit, is missing, so I'll replace that and replace that. But other than that, I'm going to try this loom and see how I go. I need to also mention that there's no more VTEC connector, so I don't know where that's gone in the mix as well. So I'm going to just do all that. This one makes me a bit nervous, the way there has been a repair, and I re-repaired this, but there's still a repair on here, and I'm not sure if that was done correctly or whatever. So I'm going to do sort of modifications to this loom in terms of changing the connectors to good connectors, and then chuck it on. This is another loom. This is the one that I'm trying to mess around with, the OBD one that I modified. Here we have it. This is the connector. Come in here with the flathead. Pull that up, pick that out, put it somewhere, and then basically just shove these back. It should all just go back now. Always easier said than done. Got the middle one out. There's one. Okay. Then this one. You can sometimes just get started. There's one. Okay. It's a connector. And then I'll just do basically the same here. And with this loom, this is the broken connecting, so there's a bit missing, and just reverse that same process. If you look at the connector, we've got on the left hand side, this is the back of the connector, we have got white with red stripe, black with yellow stripe, and white with blue. So obviously we put the other one back in the same way. They're all seated, we can just chuck that bit of blue plastic back in, and that'll be done. Okay, that's in, done. And I'm just going to work through and gain the last bits of plastic on this. So the connector for the VTEC I think I'll do next. So I've been through this whole thing and changed out a few connectors like this one for the alternator. So now it's just a matter really of sticking it back on. I've got one connector, I don't know what it is yet. This one, not sure what that is, but it doesn't correspond to anything I've got in the other loom. But anyway, we'll just put this in now and see what happens. So it's just a matter of basically feeding this back through, which I'll do now. Okay, so that's all the B18C6 lumen. Like I say, I've still got this connector up here. I'm not sure what that is. So we'll connect inside and then give it a start up. So new lumen. Intake air temperature. Just give it a flip. Okay. Seems like I need new intake air temperature sensor I can handle, but it seems to be running. Other than that, that's pretty good. Much further than I've been before. Yeah, and you see it's got, oh, there we go, it's flashing the DTC light as well. So I will give it a go to clear DTCs and then just flick them off, and then go up here, and this little lightning bolt is going online. Still got an error code. Intake air temperature, so it's consistent. Then, I mean, it's running, and it's not spitting out lots of crap from the back. So we're, other than the intake air temperature, we're pretty good. And you're going to love that. So next we'll be buying a new intake air temperature sensor and seeing what I can do on from that.